welcome to the Unstructured Data Terminal by Social Market Analytics. This is a demo video for the UDT homepage. When you log in, you will be automatically taken to the homepage. You can also access the homepage anywhere on the site by clicking the Home button in the top left-hand corner. From here, you will see a grid view of the company's 10K or 10Q data. I will start at the top of the page and make my way down. Under the file type, you can choose either 10K or 10Q data. You can also choose your universe of watchlist companies that you have selected, recent, documents published in the last 5 days, or complete, which is the full universe of all companies that report Ks and Qs on the UDT. You can also choose which section of the data you want the metrics derived upon. You can choose between total, which is the full document, MD&A, which is the management discussion and analysis, which is item 7 in the 10K, or part 1, item 2 in 10Qs, risk, which are the risk factors, item 1A in 10Ks, and part 2, item 1A in 10Qs, or the notes, otherwise known as the notes to consolidated financial statements. Now I'll explain what the different columns are. The first 6 are self-explanatory. You have your ticker, your company name, the sector, the industry, the market cap, and an average daily trade value. Last reported refers to when the company most recently released respective documents. For example, I'm on 10Qs, and United Airlines posted their last 10Q on October 19th, 2021. The next column is aggregated sentiment. This is the sum of sentiment across the whole document, excluding the exhibits. The sentiment is calculated using SMA's proprietary dictionary. SMA uses a multi-pass phrase evaluation approach, combining techniques like stemming and lemmatization to score these documents. Then we have the sentiment quintile. Sentiment quintiles are categorized as lowest, low, median, high, and highest. Lowest having the most negative sentiment and the highest having the most positive sentiment. So when the sentiment quintile is listed as highest, it is in the top 20% of sentiment across all documents in the last month. Sentiment change is the previous respective document sentiment minus the current document sentiment. So a 10Q would be compared to the last 10Q, and a 10K would be compared to the last 10K. The sentiment change quintiles are calculated the same way as sentiment quintiles, except it uses the sentiment change metric instead. So the lowest sentiment change quintile has the most negative change in sentiment. We then have word count change, which is the previous word count minus the current document's word count. Then, word count percentage change. Word count percentage is the previous document's word count minus current document's word count divided by the previous document's word count. Finally, word count change quintile is calculated using the word count change percentage. Highest implies that the word count has increased in the top 20% of documents. Next, I will show you how to add stocks to your watch list. The first option is to go to Add Watch List. From here, you can search for a stock by company name or ticker. You can upload a CSV, or you can paste a list of tickers, one line per ticker. The other option is to go to the Recent or Complete tabs and click on the star to the left of the ticker. To enable email alerts when your watchlist stocks release new documents, make sure the Enable Email Alert switch is blue. Gray means you will not receive email alerts for when your companies release new documents. Now I'll show you a use case on how I like to use it. So I'll start with my watch list and say I'm interested in only airline stocks. I'll filter on industry to airlines and say I'm only interested in companies with over a $10 billion market cap. I will use greater than or equal to 10,000 because the market cap is in millions. So then I have my 4 documents. So the things that stick out to me are that United Airlines has a 48% decrease in word count. So now I will check the different sections to see where the word count change comes from. As you can see, there's not any big word count changes in any of these. So that must mean it comes from a different section. So I go to risk, and I notice that there's a 15,000 word decrease or 100% decrease in the word count in the risk factors. This implies that United Airlines probably removed all the text in their risk factors, which is not uncommon for 10Qs. Sometimes 10Qs will not include the risk factors because they are unaudited and they are not necessary to include. But what also is interesting is that Southwest Airlines had a 166% increase and 382 words. That means that there probably wasn't much of a risk factors section, considering that it was only 382 words. And so it was probably a blanket statement saying something like, refer to the most recent 10K. So from here, I can check on these two things by clicking on the tab. After you click on the company, you can go to their filings, which is all their filings, comparison, which compares the most recent 10Q or 10K to the respective most recent document, sentiment, which is the current document with a sentiment overlay, or the social sentiment, which is SMA's proprietary S-score data. From here, I wanted to check what happened to the risk factors section in United Airlines. So I will probably click on comparison. When I go to the comparison page, you can see the drastic decrease in word count. I will go over the comparison page and other company level pages in more detail in separate videos. Back on the home page, if you want to clear all the filters, click Clear Filtering in the top right. When you hover over each column, you will see a short description of each column in case you forget. You can also move the columns by dragging and dropping wherever you want. You can add or drop the columns by going to the Columns tab on the right. By unchecking the box, you will remove the column from your grid view. You can also export the grid view as a CSV by going to the Actions tab. You can disable colors as well, or revert back to the original sizes of the columns. That concludes the video for the home page tutorial. Thank you for listening.